question number 1. Anthony, I've seen a lot of comments about new kits for the pro teams this year. Now, I know you don't think wearing pro kit is the done thing, but which ones do you think are cool?
So, do you know what is weird with pro kits?
Yeah.
And I think I had Corey Williams on the podcast talking about this. And it's weird now that Corey Williams actually left Legion. You know, he's gone to a different
No
team for
way.
next year. He's gone to Miami Blazers or something,
Oh,
which is a
wow.
bizarre, wrong decision in my view. He's built his own brand.
Legion
and now he's
was
left
his
it.
team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what was interesting talking to him, and he's the only one I've heard talking about it, and maybe it ties back into the conversation around brands at the start. Cycling team don't build any equity in their brand. Each season you're supporting Quick Step Floors, and Quick Step Floors become something else the next season. You're constantly supporting a brand name rather than supporting LA Lakers, Manchester United. And I think that's why it's not cool to wear pro kits, because all you're doing is really, you're going out in a Bora Hansgrove. Who wants to wear a jersey from a cooker company?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think people, well, particularly for me, I follow people rather than the team. So everyone knows I'm a massive Alaphilippe fan. So I will follow him. And Roglic, I will probably support him now that he's moved as well. You know, so it's more rider-based than team-based for me. And that's why I would never, ever wear a full cycling kit. I think most of them are absolutely hideous anyway.
Not this year's one. We'll go through them in a second. But before we jump into them, I want to talk to you
An
about
honourable
a kit
mention.
that is the worst kit ever. What was going on in the designer's mind when they sat down to create this kit? One of the best looking races in the world, Colombians, and they've made them look horrific in this kit. The worst kit of all time. Are we in agreement?
Absolutely. So for those who have never seen this kit, the ladies are all really, really gorgeous. And the kit has this kind of sash across the crotch in a skin colour. So it looks like basically you can see the person's
Lady
genitals. Lady bits. That's like something
Dangly
you'd say.
bits.
That's like something you'd say when you're 5. It just feels like there's nothing left of the imagination there at all. They don't look particularly happy with the kit either. None of them are smiling. That's definitely one to have a look at. The other kit...
I'd love to get you a gift for Christmas or something.
I would wear it with pride. One of the most iconic kits I've ever seen is, you know, Cipollini and that kit that he wore. I don't think it was a team kit. It must have been when he had retired, but it was basically a muscle suit. So
I think he wore that in a race. I think
he did?
Maybe his final time trial, he wore that in a race. And I could be confusing time trials, but that might be the time trial also. The Cavendish came past him. Very different ends of their career. Cavendish on the way up, Cipollini on the way down. Cavendish came past him in a time trial and clipped one leg out and pedaled past him with one leg in the pedals. And it was massively seen as disrespectful, disrespecting one of the greatest sprinters of all time. And I could be confusing them. Maybe they're not the same ones.
I don't think Cipollini really gives a damn about anything
He's gone
or
home to bait
anyone.
the wife.
Anthony. Then nothing has been proven.
Tyler Hamilton is a bad boy. Well, he's not really. Like, we've had him on the podcast, but back in the day, post-US Postal, that's a tongue twister, post-US Postal, Tyler Hamilton had this bad boy reputation, and this bad boy team emerged, built around Tyler Hamilton, Ruck Racing. This is another one of those
They look
jerseys.
like the Hell's Angels of cycling.
It went badly wrong, this jersey.
I don't hate this at all. I really, really don't hate this. I think this is kind of cool. And because it's got like this skull, crossbones, kind of like massive big emblem across the chest, you don't have a big hideous sponsor across the chest. I don't know. I really, really don't hate this.
It's like a mushroom psilocybin trip gone wrong or something. It's horrible. Okay, let's go into this year's kits.
Well, speaking of Mark Cavendish in the Astana kit, the photos that these teams release are sometimes absolutely comical. There's a kind of a iconic, in inverted commas, picture here of Mark Cavendish. They've got smoke and a yellow light behind him, trying to make it look kind of cinematic. Oh, I think
that.
The jersey is nice. I mean, it's just nice. He rocks it because he's got the rainbow bands, and yeah, Mark Cavendish is cool. So
I think Astana have a branding problem. Astana, when immediately if you say to anyone cycling and doping, you think Astana straight away, because there's been such a checkered past, and they haven't changed the colour in so many years that I still associate that colour
With doping.
doping.
Wow.
I think David Brandon problem, I would have liked to see them move totally away from that colour into an age where there's never been even a sniff of a positive test or a rumour around Mark Cavendish. Give him a new colour. Get him away from that old thing to break the Tour de France record this year.
Yeah, actually, that's a really, really good point. Bahrain have put on a lovely little detail to remember Gino Major, who passed away, who died basically out on his bike last year. It's
Tour de
just
Suisse, not-
Tour de Suisse, yeah. So just a little decal underneath the chest kind of icon. Ride for Gino. I think that is so nice. He was such an integral part of the team, so it's a lovely little detail.
Yeah, some of the other ones, we won't harp on about these too long, but some of the other ones I like.
Hang on a second, we can't move past the brown shorts for the French team.
The lack of brown shorts.
The lack of brown shorts.
Agituzar Le Mondial.
I am devastated. They were absolutely iconic.
They weren't iconic. They were shocking.
They were iconic and they just looked class. And now they're gone. It's just boring black now.
Well, they might actually win some races now with Bennett in the team. So
True.
The last one I want to mention is EF Education, because they've done a great job with the Irish champion, Ben Healy.
Yeah, the kit is cool because it's very difficult to make an Irish kit without it being really like, oh, where's my Lucky Charms kind of thing. Very Irish, very twee. I think they have absolutely hit it on point. Honourable mention for me for the little Trek kit. When I heard when I heard that they were going to redesign the kit last year, I was like, oh, this is going to be a disaster. Little Trek is probably my favourite kit in the bunch.
Nicest kit in the peloton this year, I think.
Yeah.
Bora is always the nicest kit, but I'm going to say Little's nicer this year.
And one last mention for UAE. They just look like winners. The kit just looks class.
But you have to live in Monaco to wear that kit.
Yeah.
It's like you can't live anywhere else. You see Pogacar rocking his 250 grand watch on his Colnago.
Awesome.
It's like he looks like he's balling. You use that in the lanes around Dublin, London. You come home covered in muck and horse shit and cow shit. It's like you're not so cool.
White kit, public service announcement for anyone who is not at race weight. It's not a good look. Don't do it. Do yourself a favour. Go with the little Trek kit.